There are no winners in Trump's economy, only non-losers and big losers who are getting clearer by the day. Looking back, it seems almost quaint that this was ever even a question. And by now, almost halfway through Donald Trump's first term in office, it's clear who lost the war for control of his economic agenda. It's his base. They lost. Maybe they don't know it yet, but it's over for them. Conversely, big business, huge business, should be feeling good right about now. Not great, but definitely good. The executives, lobbyists, and foreign dignitaries with power to whisper in Trump's ear and flatter him are having a decent run at getting Trump to take their side on big decisions. Sure, some issues have slipped through the cracks, but when big business presents a united front, it seems to get what it wants. This makes sense. In Trump's mind, these are his people, people he should be doing deals with. Everyone and everything else is just collateral. Now, who knows? Maybe his strategy will work out for Republicans. It's kind of a twist on one they've been working on for years. Trump is handing his base cultural victories, leaving the Iran deal, moving the U.S. Embassy in Israel to Jerusalem, while handing all the economic victories to big business and the super rich. Then again, maybe it won't work. Gas prices are going up all over the country, and that tends to sour voters on incumbents. According to research from Dartmouth University, nothing has been done about drug pricing, another Trump promise to his base. Either way, what Trump's preference for big business means is that our economy will see more of the same, plus a tax cut. Corporations will continue to get away with abusive behavior. The gap between rich and poor will continue to widen, putting a drag on domestic economic growth. China will continue to advance in its domestic economy by flouting the rules of global trade at the expense of other nations. That's what happens in the status quo, and that has consequences the U.S. can't afford to ignore. The losers. If ZTE didn't convince you that Trump's base was getting sold out, I don't know what will. Last week, Trump tweeted that he was instructing the Commerce Department to go easier on ZTE, a massive Chinese tech company that was being punished for violating U.S. sanctions on Iran and North Korea for stealing intellectual property. Trump said he was going to try to spare the 70,000 jobs that would be lost in China if the U.S. stopped allowing the company to buy parts from its domestic manufacturers. This, of course, sent Trump's own supporters howling. He ran on being tough on China, and now his surrogates were out there telling everyone there will be no trade war for the moment, whatever a moment is. It seems Larry Kudlow, Trump's economic advisor, isn't clear on that. So now we know there will be no massive tariffs on Chinese goods. That's a relief, but it also looks like the U.S. won't be getting much in return. The Chinese would not even commit to narrowing its trade deficit with the U.S. by buying an additional $200 billion in U.S. goods, let alone making structural changes to its economy that would end its all too common practice of stealing U.S. intellectual property and forcing U.S. corporations into subservient roles in the Chinese economy. None of Trump's minions really know what's going on here. This is probably because he doesn't really know either. We've walked away from doing things based on rules and now doing things based on Trump's whim. The details of how we're going to avoid a trade war and appease both parties have been scant. Frankly, at this point, it sounds like we're just going to go back to the status quo antebellum. Trade aside, Trump's base keeps losing in all sorts of other ways. On Monday, the Supreme Court sided with employers, decided that they could block employees from banding together to sue them in a class action legal disputes. Workers can instead be forced into arbitrations that historically favor employers. This is what the Trump administration wanted, and it was Trump Supreme Court nominee Neil Gorsuch who cast the deciding vote. The list goes on. There will be no infrastructure bill this year. A Trump nominee is gutting the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, an agency that was supposed to stop everyday Americans from getting scammed by banks, payday lenders, and other financial institutions. The Department of Education is backing down from going after abusive for-profit colleges. If you happen to make money by taking advantage of hardworking people, as big business often does, see Wells Fargo, Facebook, or any company that has an apology commercial on TV right now. It's a wonderful time to be alive. The non-losers. Now, just because big business keeps winning Trump's coin flips doesn't mean you can also hand victory to the globalists, the technocrats, and thought leaders who want the world to work its problems out multilaterally. That's not what's happening here. Like I said, we've left a rules-based system behind. Trump is going to continue to negotiate his deals with all of the finesse of a capo in the Gambino crime family, and the global economic order will suffer for it. This should be fine for big business up to a point. At its core, big business doesn't actually care how problems are worked out as long as they're worked out in its favor. And the economy remains relatively stable. That's what Trump seems to be doing. This is why Trump's speech on abusive middlemen in the pharmaceutical industry made the market laugh. JEF healthcare strategist Jared Holtz called the whole thing a massive waste of time. No one on Wall Street thinks Trump is capable of true economic disruption. What he is capable of is incompetence. And that is part of what has the market worried still. This is the point. The market hates uncertainty, and no one can be certain that Trump won't make a decision that unintentionally throws the economy into a tailspin. For example, while some companies love Trump's steel tariffs, others worry that rising prices will make things more expensive for Americans, a foreseeable but unintended consequence of slapping steel tariffs on our allies. And then there's NAFTA. Trump seems unable to separate those negotiations with his feelings about national security at the U.S. southern border with Mexico. On Sunday, the Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin implied that negotiations may stretch past July 1st, when Mexico could elect a fiercely anti-Trump government. This means the agony and uncertainty could continue for some time, and with Trump continuing to threaten to pull out of the deal. But I bet he doesn't pull out. In fact, I bet nothing happens. If anything, he'll tweak NAFTA and call it a big win, just as he's doing with China right now. Why no one can win. Maybe Trump's base will be happy with cultural victories. Trump has handed them and vote for GOP candidates in 2018, despite the fact that he's not at the top of the ticket. And maybe Trump will manage to avoid an unintended disaster. But that isn't going to do anything to help the U.S. economy grow, because there are real structural issues with the U.S. economy that need to be dealt with. Issues that won't be solved with a simple tax cut. Corporations know this, and shareholders know this. Just look at how the market reacted to rosy second quarter earnings. Poorly. We still have collapsing infrastructure. We still have a big generation of young people struggling with student debt, and a big generation of older people putting a drag on wage growth. We still have a massive wealth gap, eroding away the middle class. Research from the Chicago Federal Reserve argues that strong overall economic growth is masking pockets of weakness among the mighty U.S. consumer. As we show, various measures of household constraints have permanently increased in the wake of the Great Recession, raising the need for caution in thinking about an economy's response to aggregate shocks. Trump has no plan to fix any of these things, and we still have China to contend with. Nothing that Trump has or ever will announce will stop it from abusing the global financial system as it is. It will not stop from taking advantage of its sham of a dual currency. And it will not stop from stealing intellectual property in a relentless effort to become technology independent by 2025. Big business can win every battle in the Trump administration, but no one is going to win this economic war. Here, there can only ultimately be losers, and the biggest losers are Trump's base, the ones who believe that Trump would look out for anyone without money or power. Well, that sounds about right. He is who he is. And you still have people believing in him, kind of. But we're stuck with him for another 2 years unless the Democrats find some balls and actually kick him out. But I don't think they will. Hopefully he doesn't do too much damage. Hope he's not a Herbert Hoover, where he's going to sit on the sidelines while the economic infrastructure just collapses. Hopefully his handlers are better than we think they are. Hopefully he doesn't get us into a nuclear war by accident. But I think he's in there doing what needs to be done for the people that are just like him. And the little guy, both sides will get left out. Your great white hope is not looking so great anymore. But anyway, that's all I got. Let me jump off here. This is BGS out, and I'll see you guys on the next one.